All right, so that's third objective, the most important objective here. We are talking about making our conclusions based on our p-values. Again, very, very important. How do we make our conclusions here? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. How do we make conclusions in a significance test? Well, it's all about the p-value, right? If your p-value is small, meaning that the likelihood of your event to happen is not likely to be happening by chance, right? If it's small, then we're going to reject the null. We're going to reject the accepted value because we found convincing evidence for the alternative. Versus if the p-value is large, that means that this can happen by chance often. It shouldn't really have any convincing evidence, any really significant meaning to us. We are going to fail to reject the null. We can't throw out the original idea. We did not find convincing evidence for the alternative. So I hope this makes sense to you. It really should. All right. Again, caution. We never accept the null or conclude that it's true, right? It is a value, it's out there, but we could always try to adjust our alternative to disprove the null. Okay. So again, never accept. We either reject the null or we fail to reject the null. Do not accept the null. Okay. Again, in this section, we are going to compare our p-value to 5%. So p-value to 0.05, right? The question is, how does it compare? Less than 0.05 would be small. Greater than 0.05 would be big because that is our 5% that we typically use for our convincing evidences. Okay. So again, this is a very, very, very important page right here. Hopefully it makes sense to you. All right, so let's talk. Okay, so refer to example 2. What conclusion would you make? All right, so this is about the conclusion. So I've just recopied this problem down, right? This is about the whole calcium and getting enough. And again, our p-value is 0.1405. So again, the first sentence is going to be talking about, is this a small p-value or a large? So we're going to say a p-value. So let's do that. So p-value, p-value of 0.1405 is, and this is large. And the reason it's large is because it's greater than 0.05. 14% is more than 5%. So, because it's large, we fail to reject the null. We fail to reject the null. If it was small, we would reject the null. But here we fail to reject the null. What does this mean? Well, if we fail to reject the null, then we did not find convincing evidence for the alternative. There is not convincing evidence that, and again, I'm just going to restate what the parameter is, and I'm going to use the inequality from the alternative because we're trying to find convincing evidence for the alternative. Either there is convincing evidence for the alternative and we reject the null, or there's not convincing evidence for the alternative and we fail to reject the null. Here I failed to reject the null, so there's not convincing evidence for the alternative. There is not convincing evidence that the true mean daily calcium intake in the population of teenagers is less than 1,300 milligrams. Okay, so again, based off this sample, I would say the NIH should not have concern for their teens. They're doing okay. All right, good. So good luck on this homework. This is a very, very, very important section, so try your best to understand it. It'll help you in the long run. All right, thanks for watching.